But we're going to come back. We're going to get Kim on, and we're going to, of course, get to the indie media moment with kind of an extended version of it with our new friend, Mark Taylor-Canfield. So nobody go nowhere. We'll be right back with more Turn Up the Night right after this. Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick.
Boy, that's getting to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? What kind of radio station is this?
KennyPick.com.
Hi, this is Kenny Pick, founder of Liberal Justice Radio, and I wanted to take a few minutes to let you know about our schedule here on Liberal Justice. Well, most of the time you're hearing recent rebroadcasts of all the shows on Liberal Justice Radio. They do all begin as live shows on Liberal Justice. So let me tell you a little bit about how you can hear the shows when they broadcast live, and you can find out then how to participate in our chat rooms and our social media. First and foremost, on Mondays, you can check out Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott on Filter Free Radio, live from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Jacob and Scott give you unfiltered news, opinion, and analysis on stories that the mainstream media won't touch with a 10-foot pole. It's a fantastic show that you won't want to miss. And on Tuesdays, there's my show, Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick. I have many co-hosts, Tom, Debba, Matt, Kim, and Pete on Tuesdays. That's 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We have lots of laughs. We talk about politics. We talk about news. We talk about all kinds of stuff. You'll love it. We also have a Friday show, but we'll get to that momentarily. We're proud to announce that we have a brand new addition to our live family, and that's the Bradcast, of course, hosted by the world-renowned Brad Friedman of the Brad Blog and the Green News Report. And we're very happy to have him on from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Then Thursdays, well, everybody gets the night off for good behavior. Then Friday comes back around, and yeah, that's right, Turn Up the Night is back. It's me, Tom, Debba, and Matt back for more fun. We always have all kinds of guests on the show, and it's always a hoot. And again, that's Fridays live from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Then Saturdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we have my good friend Adam Hebert with Mic Check Radio. You can check out him and his hosts, Rob and Wes. They talk politics, they talk geek culture, they talk science, and again, lots of laughs from those guys too. And again, that's Saturdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. That's when the shows are live. We encourage you to listen 24 hours a day if you humanly can. We would love that. That's Filter Free Radio, live every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Turn Up Night with Kenny Pick, live from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, the Bradcast, live from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Thursdays, we're off. Fridays, we're back with more Turn Up the Night from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturdays, it's Mic Check Radio, live from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Nothing yet on Sunday, but you never know. We might throw a curveball. So please enjoy our live shows and the recent rebroadcasts that we run 24/7. And find out how to get in touch with us. Let us know how you're listening to Liberal Justice Radio and what you think of the programming and what you'd like to hear more of. And without further ado, please enjoy the following program.
Focus for maximum picture quality, and please adjust sound for maximum clarity.
Yeah, hello, excuse me, thank you. Some attention, please.
I spent a great deal of time getting things ready for the show.
No, keep going. Keep going. I'm kind of curious as to how this works.
Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick.
You know, I think it's going to do very well in the evening hours here.
The greatest gift to mankind since Tutti Frutti ice cream.
A viable and modern source for news and entertainment.
Hey, gang, have I got an earful for you today?
If you're listening to this, for the resistance.
The mind is aglow with whirling, transient loads of thought, careening through a cosmic vapor of invention.
In your heart, you know he's right.
And now, to the business at hand.
We're all in this together.
We got a show to do.
Well, let's check it out.
You can do it!
And welcome back to the weekend edition of Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, broadcasting live-ish on Spreecast, Talk Radio 1, and Liberal Justice Radio Worldwide.
That's good, Ken.
And ghost hosting with us out in lovely Wine Country, California, Debba Cal. Hello, welcome back, my friend.
Well, hello, one and all, and hi, Kim.
Yeah, and Adam Hebert is in Champaign, Illinois, joining us. Please check out his show tomorrow night, MikeCheckRadioShow.com.
Yeah, it's going to be funsies. We're going to talk about the recent decision from Lucasfilm about the extended universe during the Nerd Hour.
Oh, yeah, don't even... Okay.
You're not happy either?
No, I'm not happy. I just don't care. So, anyway, and, of course, Tom Schaefer in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome back to the program, my friend.
Hi, friend.
All right, and last but not least, we have Kim G from Indie Media Weekly. Welcome back, Kim. So happy it's Friday.
Yeah, man, I'm happy it's Friday, too. It's my busiest day of the week, but all my work is done. The only thing left is to hang out with y'all and play a little music later.
I know. We're going to get ready for the Indie Media Weekly Social Club, or the Late Night Social Club. So,
yeah.
And whatever. Yeah, it's got a big, long name. Let's figure out a shorter name for it. Indie Media Rockley. So
let's call it Bob. Let's call it Bob.
Yeah, we'll call it Bob. All right, well, here, let me go ahead and play your jingle real quick, and I'm going to dial up Mark Taylor-Canfield. So here we go.
It's Kim G. Indie Media Moment.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Mark Taylor-Canfield, prolific writer, blogger extraordinaire. This man is everywhere.
You stole my word, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
worried I'm underdressed.
So,
I'm glad I'm
and he's a good friend of Jacob Dean, of course, of Filter Free Radio as well. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, Mark, are you there with us, my friend?
I am on the air. Hey,
you are. We're doing well. Let me do this right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one, the only prolific blogger, writer extraordinaire, Mark Taylor-Canfield, joining us for the first time on Turn Up the Night. Welcome to the show.
Woohoo!
So, we like to get...
That was a great intro.
Thanks. we like to get fanfare. So, so of course, I want to say you are here on the behest of both me and Kim. We collided on your booking, and I'm so glad we were able to work this out and have you on in Kim's Indie Media Moment.
Hey, Kim. Good to see you on the air.
Hey, Mark. It's really good to meet you. So, I got the email about your stuff and your work. Well, call it your work. Stuff is not the right word to use for that because it's you have quite the body of work. And I was like, oh my God, wow. The way she paused.
Wait a minute, I thought we were going in a different direction there.
Yeah, you were like, I'm sorry, Kim, you know our show. You know our show.
I've not seen that to make
my.
So we are speaking about your body of work.
Yeah.
And I got the emails, and I was like, oh, my gosh. So I'm looking back. I'm going back to all of these links that you sent me, and really great stuff, Mark. And so, since I didn't know you and I hadn't met you, I had to get the 411 on you because you dropped Ken's name. I'm like, hey, Ken, so what's up with this guy, Mark? Is like a really good fit for Indie Media Weekly? And Ken was like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he gave you all thumbs up. And so I went back and looked at some of your work, and prolific was the word that I was thinking about using, and not just prolific, but really great stuff, in-depth stuff on media. And I want to direct everyone to the debut post that we did. I've got it up today over on IndieMediaWeekly.com. It's the featured post right now, and Is Radio Dead? And it's an excellent piece by Mark. And I think everybody should read that. And there are links there to his social media. So you want to go over there and avail yourself of those so that you can get him on your radar and start to read Mark because he's an excellent source of information, a fine indie journalist. And I just couldn't be happier to have him be a part of the Indie Media Weekly family. So I just want to welcome you, Mark, and thank you so much for making your work available to us there.
Well, thank you for all of your work because folks like you are inspiring me to go indie and to try to help build these networks because a lot of the voices that I used to really appreciate and that I used to work with are no longer on the terrestrial radio airwaves. So I've been looking for folks that are pioneers in this new media, and we formed the Progressive Radio Northwest group up in Seattle to deal with that. And folks down there in Portland created their own group, which has resulted in xray.fm. And these are all independent, grassroots kind of efforts to bring back independent voices to the media. And so I really appreciate, what you guys have been doing to spearhead that movement, which I think is really the new paradigm now that people are getting a little bit tired of the three networks that are always trying to shove their programming down our throats. So thanks for all the work you're doing.
I literally am a pioneer. I have a covered wagon in my backyard.
A couple of old bands from Wagon Wheels, but I don't know.
I kid. But it wouldn't be complete, Mark, if I didn't make the rounds and introduce you to our other co-host on the program tonight. Of course, neighbor to the south of you, Deb Cal, out in Wine Country, California.
Oh, am I to the south? Oh, yes, I guess I am.
You are. So
I'm down in Lodi.
So Mark meet Deba, Deba meet Mark. There you go.
I'm Mark.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Yeah, I'm just down the I-5.
Oh, Deba, say flowers. Wait, did you say?
Oh, the flowers. Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are talking in French.
French.
All right, and
I do better in Spanish or Portuguese. But.
And to your east, Mark, you have Adam Hebert of Mike Check Radio in Champaign, Illinois. Say hi there, Adam.
Konnichiwa, or konbanwa, I'm sorry.
I'm familiar with Adam's work. I've been checking out what he's doing, too. So good to meet you on the air.
Very cool.
I'm blushing. Thank you.
And to the, I guess that would be the southeast to you, we have Tom Schaefer in Columbus, Ohio. And Tom and you have been colliding. I'm sorry, go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, good to talk to you.
And,
welcome.
And now something you've been writing about, and something Tom has been wanting to talk about. I'm sure. I think I kind of want to hand it to you guys for at least 5 minutes on this. Net neutrality.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, big issue. Yeah.
Dig in there, boys.
dig in.
Well, and as we heard a couple of months ago, the appeals court in D.C. Basically told the FCC, no, in the way that you're doing it right now, you cannot enforce net neutrality. And so most of us thought, oh, good. That means the FCC can come back with a little stronger definition, maybe even go as far as to treat the Internet as a public utility, even go as far as looking at what we call universal access, which was an old telco term back in the day when it was stated that everyone should have an access to a phone, preferably one hardwired back in the day to their home. But now, of course, we have the ability to do cell-based and Wi-Fi-based type communications. But we thought, okay, good. FCC is going to come back with a stronger definition. What they've done is a total 180 from that. They want to create a two-tier Internet. They want to create a fast lane for those big media companies and big telcos who want to offer a higher bandwidth service for things like Netflix streaming and other streaming media content for the price of doing that, and everybody else gets whatever we have today, and maybe not even that, depending on how much that traffic builds up. So, Mark, that was kind of a scary announcement coming out of Tom Wheeler, the chairman of the FCC, and yes, he's a former telco CEO and lobbyist this week.
Oh, there's an interesting tie-in. When you were saying we were hoping that this would be a new fresh breath, for a change of policy at the FCC. And then you said, and then you paused for a minute. I just wanted to hear that NDA horn. That's what's happening.
I got this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not to be.
It's opened the door to a whole new bureaucratic mess, which is Chairman Wheeler and his idea. I think that, I'm approaching most of this from one of my focuses as a journalist, which is freedom of the press, and which means freedom of the media.
Yeah.
So I actually did write a letter to Chairman Wheeler, and believe me, I've had issues with the FCC before. I actually testified before an FCC hearing on corporate media ownership several years ago, and brought with me some reports that some professors at a couple of major universities had written, commissioned by the FCC, saying that corporate control of the media was doing away with minority and female ownership, resulted in less local news coverage, and by gosh, those Federal Communications Commission members just didn't know that their own commission had commissioned these reports. They had no idea they even existed. It was amazing. Wow. Amazing how that works. Yeah.
I'm even unsure of what the FCC does anymore.
I'm not sure
Twiddler
too.
thumbs.
They tell you that you can't use the F word on terrestrial radio stations. That's what I know about it.
What the fuck?
Yes. And we're internet, so
we're allowed to curse terribly, and I'm usually the
seriously though. I felt like I was. It was like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, or the anti-American hearings with Senator McCarthy, where there I am with the reports in my hand, waving them in their face, and they denying that they existed. Oh, we had no idea. And then the chairman's office actually called me for information about their own reports, which I thought was completely ridiculous. Which my only concern.
And we're internet, so
we're allowed to curse terribly, and I'm usually the
seriously though. I felt like I was. It was like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, or the anti-American hearings with Senator McCarthy, where there I am with the reports in my hand, waving them in their face, and they denying that they existed. Oh, we had no idea. And then the chairman's office actually called me for information about their own reports, which I thought was completely ridiculous. Which my only conclusion there was it's either complete incompetence, that they don't know what their own commission is doing, or some kind of cover-up. So there you go. It's the corporations are running the media in the United States, which is probably one of the reasons why we are now ranked 46th in the world in terms of press freedom by Reporters Without Borders. Which anybody can check out. Go to rsf.org, and surprisingly, I can't seem to get anybody to report that story. It's funny how the media won't report on stories that undermine their own credibility. I wonder how that works.
Wow, that's wacky.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Imagine that. He thinks the emperor is naked.
In what respect?
In what respect, Charlie?
Sorry.
Well, and getting back to the net neutrality issue, and I tried to explain this the other day for somebody and try to create a nice analogy. And I said, imagine, if you will, our electrical system. Instead of utility companies given the mandate to make sure that everyone gets power to their house as cleanly, as effectively, as without brownouts and blackouts. If instead they created two separate grids, and the one grid is for their big corporate customers, whether they're running a factory or corporate headquarters or a distribution center, that they had the latest technology in that grid, the best way of delivering it, redundancy, so that if one substation went out, another one would take over. And so that, the chances of them running out of power while they're, doing their business day is almost nil, 99.999% uptime. And that everybody else got this system that will probably not get upgraded unless, a power line gets pulled down from a tree limb or a windstorm, or, unless something really breaks, you're not going to see any support to fix it. As new homes are built in an area, maybe they won't even add a transformer or two to help, redistribute the load. That's the potential that could happen with a two-tiered internet. that we have a potential, not immediately. It won't be like they sign if they go through this comment period and they still decide to go through with it. It's not going to happen the day after they make that decision, but over time you'll see the quality of the non-corporate, the non, I guess you could almost call it a pay-for-play internet. That will stay high because that's where the emphasis will be on. Because the big media companies will say, of course I want to stream my movies, or of course I want to have live, video from my television shows that I'm, also simulcasting on the internet, et cetera, et cetera. And then everybody else will be like, yeah, my network's slow, and when we try to set up a new show that we're doing, like Turn Up the Night, we notice that everybody's having trouble getting to us, and it's really glitchy, and the stream kind of breaks down every now and then. That's potentially the kind of world that we're talking about here.
It sounds like they've already gotten to Spreecast.
Good. Well, that's another story. But traditionally, the critical part of the whole infrastructure, and given my 30 years of IT, I can tell you this, is the last mile, as they call it. That distance from whether it's a central office of the phone company or the closest hop from the cable TV plant if you're getting your data over the cable TV network. So typically that's the place where you're going to have the most trouble as a consumer. Mm-hmm. But what they're saying is at the head end, or at the data end of the whole thing, they want to basically guarantee a level of service to from Comcast to Netflix, from Verizon to let's say Sony Pictures, if Sony wants to put wants to put their TV shows and movies up on the internet. So that they want to make sure that they get a guaranteed level of service, and that usually means they're going to have the deepest connections, the greatest redundancy, the highest level of technical support is going to be supporting that, and they'll probably have it written into contracts that demand a certain percentage level of uptime and performance, and they'll be held to that.
All right,
rightly so. But the problem is we consumers and also we startups in the internet media world, aka Turn Up the Night and others, we won't have that level of guarantee. We won't have that level of confidence that what we are doing will get that kind of support.
Yeah, Mark, what's your take on that?
Well, as far as I know, when people were watching their local television station, there was no delay in getting that signal. If you had a good set of rabbit ears, those public airwaves came in to everyone's television set at exactly the same time with the same quality. So I think we've definitely moved away from the idea that the airwaves are owned by the public and are only used at the behest of the public by these corporations. They want to buy it. They want to control it. And any way that they can squeeze us for money, they're going to do it. And data and bandwidth is the way that they're doing it now. It's kind of like pay to play at this point. It's like, okay, so you want to be on the internet? Well, hey, guess what? Unless you give us all your money, you basically aren't going to have access to information, which goes back to my letter to Chairman Wheeler, which, if you don't mind, it's very short, but I'll read it. It says,
please, go ahead.
Dear Chairman Wheeler, media democracy equals freedom of the press. The U.S. Constitution guarantees a free press. Allowing equal access to content on the internet is vital to the free dissemination of information and ideas in a democratic society. The United States is currently ranked 46th on the 2014 Reporters Without Borders World Press Freedom Index. And as Thomas Jefferson pointed out, and I'm sure Thomas Paine would agree, democracy requires an informed populace. This means free access to information on the internet as well.
Yeah. Adam.
I have a question.
Yeah, Adam, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you think this figures in with a recent report that shows that the U.S. is functionally no longer a democracy, but rather a plutocracy or oligarchy?
There's been a lot of talk about that recently. In fact, Jacob Dean at Sister Free Radio did a whole program about that on Monday. Mm-hmm. There have also been a lot of authors who have come out lately and a few economists who are saying the same thing. I believe, some more traditional economists that you wouldn't expect to say this kind of thing are actually coming out now and just admitting that, yes, there is an oligarchy in the United States of America. There is a 1%, and it's I guess David Gordon, the economist who's on the editorial board at Yes Magazine up here in Washington State, would say it would be great if we had free enterprise with equal opportunity, but unfortunately what we have now is monopoly capitalism, which means control the market, shut everyone else out, mom and pop shops close, and the big multinational corporations run everything, including, some might say, our government, with that revolving door between not only Lehman Brothers and JP Morgan Chase and others, but also, I found out recently, Monsanto. So there you go. You buy your government, you buy the public airwaves, and you put people in the government that will write regulations that favor you. It's a good money-making, profit-oriented plan, and it seems to be working quite well for them.
Well, and, I think one of the authors you're talking about there, I'm not sure how to say his last name, but Thomas Piketty, the French author with the Capital in the 21st Century, his new book, which I'm dying to read, is pretty much all about this. It's all about making money from money and just squashing everything else. And, you've got this disproportionate, well, not disproportionate, you have this just what do you call it? I want to say diaspora. A diaspora between the working class and the rich oligarchy that's inherited all the money.
Which, from my point of view, probably leads to social destabilization, but apparently nobody's paying attention to that.
Yeah, weird how that works, huh? So, we don't have a lot of time left with you, but I want to make sure that you plug, Mark, all the outlets, or the best way to find your writing, because again, Kim, you said it yourself. I stole your word, voluminous. Well, no, I said prolific, but you can have voluminous if you want, Kim.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it.
But yeah, Kim, go ahead. Let's start wrapping things up with Mark, and we'll you're going to start featuring his stuff. You're going to start featuring his stuff on Indie Media Weekly.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment and just make a small little comment about the net neutrality stuff. And we've been seeing this coming down the pipe for a long time, at least 5 years that I've been seeing them making plays and making moves to throttle back the availability of bandwidth to everybody on the internet and a level playing field. And really, I mean, we can speculate about all the reasons why, but in my opinion, it comes down to two things. It comes down to making more money, and it comes down to closing off our last really viable way of communicating with each other and speaking about our dissent, about our unhappiness with the oligarchy. And I think that's the win-win for them, is to make more money off people who don't really care about using the internet that way. They're more into cat pictures. And people who want to talk about things and organize, shutting off their connections to each other. And my question is, will people go into the streets when that happens? Because I think it's coming. The fight is coming. I don't think they're going to be afraid to try it. And I'm interested to see what happens. But yeah, so that's why we have people like Mark writing the pieces that he's writing. He's got YouTube. You can go to Indie Media Weekly and find the links there in the feature story. I put the link up in the chat room a little bit earlier. We'll put it up again before we go. And yeah, so I just want to thank you, Mark, for the effort that you put into this, because I know it takes a lot of effort to write these pieces in such a thoughtful manner and to inform us all of the ins and outs of this. And so I thank you, and I really appreciate you sharing that with everybody with Indie Media Weekly.
Well, thank you, Kim, for the opportunity to talk about this kind of issue on this program, as I continue to try to be independent. I find that, the only voices that I trust anymore are the folks who are not rolling in the money. So not that I wouldn't mind if somebody threw some at me, but I'm just saying, the higher up my fellow journalists get in the food chain, the less truth they tend to tell.
Yeah.
So my focus is always going to be on independence. And I've worked in public radio. I've been a reporter for Free Speech Radio News at the Pacifica Radio Network for years. And we actually set up a foundation called Pacifica Reporters Against Censorship, which paid me to do those stories. So you can see where I'm coming from. I really applaud independent media, and I think it is the place that people are going to go as they continue to feel more and more shut out by the corporate agenda in this country. People are really hungry for the truth, and I think that at some point they will understand that you no longer have to sit back and accept the programming, which some might equate with brainwashing, that comes from these corporate networks, that it's time for people to speak out for themselves. And hey, I'm living in a world where any kid on a skateboard with a cell phone is now a journalist and live streamer, so I think the doors have been opened. I just hope that this net neutrality issue doesn't narrow the bandwidth to the point where there aren't as many independent voices, and that's something we all have to fight against. And I can see there's a huge backlash against this decision by the FCC, and their phone lines are so busy right now you wouldn't believe it. So keep up the good work, everyone. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep the independent media alive and support it. If you're out there in the audience, do whatever you can do to help people speak the truth, because we're in a battle right now, and I don't think we've lost. I think that we've taken a few hits, but every time they look in a different direction, we show up somewhere else. So right now, we're on Turn Up in the Night with Kenny Pick. So you're in the right place.
I'm gonna make you record a voiceover for that. So.
And I will say I say amen to that, Mark, and also say that in addition to the letters that you wrote and testifying you've done and phone calls that we can make, there's a whole bunch of petitions going around. I just signed one at Daily Kos today. I'm going to put it up at the top of the chat and in my chat comments to click on it, to sign it. We need to let the FCC know that this is a decision that, like I said, won't immediately change the world with its enactment, but over the long haul is not good for us. It's not good for the democracy. It's not good for innovation. It will slow, new opportunities for people who want to challenge the status quo of corporate domination of media, and it will make it harder for alternatives to be found. So we need to fight this.
Absolutely. We got some good allies here. Adam, do you want to say anything on before Mark leaves?
Sure. Mark, if you're ever interested, feel free to get with me about coming on to my show. I look forward to hearing your material on liberal justice or, Indie Media Weekly. Sorry, I keep forgetting. But, thank you for joining us tonight.
I will definitely follow up with you on that. And if folks want to check out more of what I'm doing, I do have a YouTube channel where I post a lot of the media work that I do. It's MTC TV Media. I also am posting things at SoundCloud. I have a free online newspaper at paper.li. It's called Global Newsfeed. It's free to anybody that wants to subscribe.
Cool.
And in the meantime, I'm over there blogging at Daily Kos and writing at Op-Ed News and Truthout, and just trying to stick with the people who allow me to speak out and don't try to control what I have to say. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I give you all a thumbs up and a shout-out for the work that you're doing on your independent broadcast. Like I said, that's the future. That is the future.
You're so prolific, again, using that word. I stole it from Kim. But using that word,
it's such a good word.
I think I loved, I want to make a jingle for you using Johnny Cash's "I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere." I
want you to know I'm dressed in black today.
There you go.
Awesome.
Johnny. So actually, all four of us on camera are right now too. So you're definitely
I was
good
wearing
company.
my Rastafarian colors. So.
It's okay.
Oh,
It was
I
keeping
still
you
am.
warm.
So.
We are.
But I don't live far from Folsom Prison, so.
There you go. So there you go. But no, really, Mark, we appreciate your efforts, and we really loved having you on the show tonight. And let's make this a regular occurrence, okay?
Absolutely. Keep up the good work, guys. And Kim, thanks for getting in touch with me and setting up all this stuff. And Kenny, thanks to you for your support. And all I can say is that my heart's with you, and I'm rooting for you all the way. So let's make it happen.
Amen, brother. We appreciate it.
And if you're in Astoria in the middle of May, let me know, because that's where I'm going to be. So.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
So, absolutely.
All right, Mark.
Got it.
Mark, it was great having you on, and we do have to run to a break, but we will talk to you soon. So say goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Good night, Gracie.
Oh, he knows the old-time radio references, too. So, all right, thanks, Mark. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, you have a good night, and I'll be watching, so keep up the good work.
All right,
Ciao.
very good. See ya.
You too.
So, all right, there goes, kids, and we absolutely got to run to a break right now, but we'll be back, and I swear to God, I'm going to funny the shit up at the end of the show, so we're going to keep things light. So we'll be right back with more Turn Up the Night right after this. Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick.
Smooth talking, jive talking, street thug.
KennyPick.com.
You play when you living with stress. This is what you play to get shit off your chest. This is what you play when people